at Citi Field in New York. Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the San Diego Padres. It's the start of the long Memorial Day weekend and a perfect chance for families to come out to the ballpark, do a little grilling on the side. Not the big-time barbecue, but just enough to get you ready for the game tonight at Citi Field. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play Game 2 of their 4-game series against the San Diego Padres. The Mets got thumped last night 11-5. Tonight, Mike Baxter gets another opportunity. You know, with Andres Torres slumping and Jason Bay on the disabled list, this has really opened up an opportunity for the Queens native.
Well, he's earned it because he's hitting at a, 360 clip with 50 at-bats. And, you know, one thing about Mike Baxter that it kind of eludes people if you're not paying attention, and he's got good speed. He's got 2 stolen bases this year. He's got a .431 on-base percentage, 7 walks in those 50 at-bats. So he's really had his opportunity. He's been terrific off the bench, pinch hitting. To me, he's the right guy right now against right-handers to lead off.
Yeah, and he'll be leading off tonight for the 3rd time this week. On the mound for the Mets tonight is Dylan G., who was able to calm down those hot-hitting Toronto Blue Jays in his last start.
Well, he had a really terrific slider, and he threw that slider off the plate, that bait slider that starts out in the strike zone and breaks out, and he had the Toronto hitters, the right-hand power hitters, all fishing for it. He's 3-3 on the year, a 1-0 lifetime against the Padres. He hasn't had good luck here at Citi Field. He's given up 6 of his 7 home runs here at Citi Field, which is kind of unusual. He's looking to keep it rolling.
On the other side for the Padres, young Anthony Bass, who surprisingly has been as good a starter as the San Diego's had.
Well, he made the ball club for the first time and started out in the bullpen. First two appearances were out of relief. But as a starter, he's 8 starts. He has been terrific. His ERA is below 3. He's never started against the Mets. 4 relief pitches appearances against the Mets. He's coming off a no decision, but he's got 4 quality starts.
Well, the Padres had a breakout offensive night last night. G will try and cool them down tonight as the big holiday weekend gets started at Citi Field. All the action on Pix 11. Audi, truth in engineering. By Time Warner Cable, enjoy all the things you love better, all from Time Warner Cable. By Mazda and the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. By Citi, the official sponsor of Team USA, together every step of the way. By Lexus and the Lexus RX. And by the UPS Store, let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Keys to the game are brought to you by Cadillac on the web at CadillacTristate.com.
Well, we told you on the open that G has long ball problems this year. 7 home runs given up, 6 here in this park. Keep it in the ballpark. David Wright, well, he's just been on a torrid pace. Keep it up, David. You've been awesome. Can Ike build on the pinch hit last night? The 2 RBI pinch hit single. 1 at bat at a time.
Dylan G starting to grow it back after shaving it off for his last start. Mets and Padres. First pitch coming right up from Citi Field. Smile on his face. Bringing cheer wherever he goes. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better, all from Time Warner Cable. Starting lineup brought to you by Toyota, who remind you the Save in May sales event is going on now. The Padres banged out season highs with 11 runs and 18 hits last night. So other than changing their battery, they've got the same lineup going tonight. John Baker will catch. Anthony Bass will pitch. Same unit otherwise, going up against Dylan G, who's trying to record back-to-back starting victories for the first time since last July.
Well, his last start was a big victory. It saved the potential of getting swept in Toronto. Pitched a fine ball game there against a high-powered offensive ball club. He's 3-3 on the year, looking to go 4-3. And the Lexus defense, brought to you by Lexus RX, the Met defense. And you can see Ike, those 4 errors, 2 of them were kind of a little bit of a lackadaisical errors. So really, if he had played those balls properly, they only would have been 2 errors on the season. And we know his glove is outstanding, and I think he has a lot to do with David over at third base. David's throwing problems are behind him, and David's been wonderful. And Mike Baxter gets out there in left field. He's earned the starts. He has been terrific off the bench, pinch hitting, and hitting at a 360 clip.
You know, sometimes in sports it's all about opportunity, and you know, Mike Baxter came into the season as an afterthought, the last guy to make the team, the left-handed bat off the bench. But you take Jason Bay out of the mix, as he has been for a month, with a fractured rib. You've got a slumping center fielder in Andres Torres, and all of a sudden there's an opportunity for Baxter that wasn't there before. I
agree with you. And you know, your interview yesterday, Gary, during the rain delay with Sandy Alderson. Sandy Alderson said it was good to see Mike Baxter take advantage of the opportunity.
There's your umpiring crew for tonight. Bill Welke, the younger of the Welke brothers, has the plate. Chris Guccione, the crew chief Tim Cheetah, and Jeff Nelson rounding out the quartet for tonight. Muggy, but no rain. Rain was certainly a huge factor in the Padres' victory last night. Will Venable had a big hand in that. He leads off against Dylan G. And the first pitch of the night is too high for ball one. Venable went 2 for 5 last night with a pair of doubles, drove in a couple of runs. He has been one of the hotter hitters in the San Diego lineup, hitting .340 over his last 16 games. And G immediately falls behind 2-0.
And G has had trouble with leadoff hitters in innings this season. They're hitting on a .417 clip against him with 3 home runs.
Quite a contrast, because last year leadoff hitters in an inning hit just .223 against G. So they're almost 200 points higher, and that's clearly an area of some concern. So Cameron Maybin on deck. 2-1 coming to Venable, and it misses inside, ball 3.
Well, one thing about Dylan's very composed for his young age on the mound. You're going to have to beat him with the stuff he brings to this particular game.
And he walks the leadoff batter tonight, and Venable is aboard. G had not been walking anybody until that last start in Toronto when he walked 4. Still only now 14 walks in 49 2/3. So it's been a rarity this year when he's had control issues.
And we mentioned last night also this Padre team is a team that does draw a lot of walks.
They are number 1 in the league in drawing walks. The Mets are number 2.
They just haven't hit, but you wouldn't have known it from last night.
Here's Cameron Maybin, 3 for 5 last night, drove in a couple of runs. Maybin hitting just .224 for the year. And the first pitch hit out to shallow center. Out goes Murphy to call, and Daniel puts it away for the first out of the night. So after walking Venable, G gets a 1-pitch out from Maybin. 1 out and 1 on for the Padres, and here is Yonder Alonso, the talented first baseman for San Diego. Alonso, former first-round pick of the Cincinnati Reds, came over in the Matt Latos deal, and he is hitting .305 for San Diego, riding a 7-game hitting streak right now. Padres did a lot of running last night, particularly early in the game, and the Mets need to be mindful of that. San Diego, second in the National League in stolen bases. Venable has 5.
And they got to pay a little more attention to him today than they did yesterday. And the Mets also stole 3 bases, and you figure on a rain delay with a wet track there wouldn't have been 6 stolen bases.
Yeah, well, that is a surprise, my friend.
That's why they play the game.
One and 0 to Alonso. And he hits it out to left field along the line. Baxter running out of room as he tries to climb the sidewall. See the hats that the fans were given today. Cap day. Cap night, I guess, technically. Nice new design. You like the orange stripes?
It's Cap Day.
Fans are true to the orange and blue.
I think they should bring Bat Day back.
Well, if you lobby for it, you never know. It might happen. They brought back Banner Day. Little dunker towards shallow left, and that's going to fall fair for a base hit. Venable on his way to third. Alonso has himself a parachute of a base hit, and the Padres have first and third and 1 out.
Well, it's the opposite field. Texas leaguer couldn't place it better, and a very good read by Venable. Never hesitated. Knew it from the get-go. When I say very good read, I mean mostly it's about how quickly you read it's going to drop. And he instantly recognized that it was going to drop.
So G in immediate difficulty, first and third and 1 out. Here's Jesus Guzman, the left fielder. Guzman 2 for 5 last night, a double and 2 RBIs. And the fastball in for a strike to Guzman, 0-1.
You know, when a play is in front of you, you see so many players today looking for help from their coaches, and they look befuddled. You know, if you got good instincts for the game, the play is in front of you, you make your own decision.
And and G gets ahead 0-2.
G's coming out early here throwing a lot of fastballs and locating.
Trying to avoid falling behind early, which he had done in every start until his last outing against Toronto when the Mets got up 3 before he took the mound. Guzman in an 0-2 hole trying to get the run in from third, which he's done 6 of 8 times this year. And he hits it in the air to left field, chasing Baxter back to the warning track. Right back at the wall, he makes a terrific catch. Tagging at third, Venable. He comes in to score. The relay by Cedeno, and they double off Alonso at first. The run does count, despite the double play. Engineered brilliantly by Mike Baxter, going up against the fence to take an extra base hit away from Guzman. Baxter to Cedeno and on to Davis for the double play. The Padres get a run, but Baxter keeps it from being a whole lot more. Event is going on now. Mets with 5 left-handed bats in the lineup tonight against Anthony Bass. Baxter gets his 3rd stint in that leadoff spot. Ronnie Cedeno, after leading off last night, dropped down to 7th. Rob Johnson catches the 3rd straight game for the Mets. And the 24-year-old right-hander Anthony Bass hurling for the Pods.
Well, this will be his 9th start, and his start so far this year, he's gone 2-3 with an ERA of 2.94. It's a very good ERA. Remember, this is a ball club that doesn't score runs, doesn't score a lot of runs, even though they had a ton last night.
Mike Baxter, after that great catch in left field, leads off against Bass and takes a fastball for a strike. Baxter appeared as a pinch hitter last night and grounded out in the 9th inning, hitting a .360 for the year. This is only the 9th game he started. And Bass misses low and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got a similar motion to Tim Lincecum, not as extreme, but he does kind of turn the back to the hitter and raises that front shoulder.
Doesn't quite torque his body and lean backwards the way Lincecum does.
Well, he throws hard. He got a good slider. Good command of all of his pitches. The Padres love him.
And he's been throwing his changeup more this year than he did last year, which has helped him against the left-hand hitters. And that's fouled to the plate by Baxter, 1-2.
And he's a big, strong kid, too.
Kirk Neuenhuis on deck, then David Wright in the 1st inning. Well, Bass began the year in the bullpen, but the Padres have lost 3 starting pitchers to injury. Dustin Mosley went down first, and that's who Bass replaced. Then they lost Tim Stauffer and Corey Lupke as well. Strike 3 call. Baxter looking at the fastball, and that's the first out for Anthony Bass.
Well, the defense, we'll take a look at the defense, and it is your San Diego Padre defense, and that's brought to you by your Lexus RX. 3rd star of the season for Cabrera. He had a big night. He had a terrible start this year. Was hitting below the interstate. 0.95 coming into this series. Had a big game last night, the 4 for 5. And he's obviously back in there. He came up from AAA. He was hitting 300 down there. He just couldn't get on track.
Here's Kirk Neuenhuis, appeared as a pinch hitter last night and was retired as a pinch hitter for the first time this year.
I tell you what, I like what I see from this kid right off the get-go.
Well, he's been a red-hot pitcher. Working quickly and gets the changeup in for a strike to Neuenhuis, and it's 0-2.
Well, he pounded Baxter inside and struck him out with that fastball away, knees in black, outside corner.
David Wright on deck. And Neuenhuis gets straightened up. A ball and 2 strikes.
Nothing wrong with that pitch. You want to lean.
Neuenhuis at 290. Bass wasting no time. And Neuenhuis goes down looking. Fastball inside corner. So back-to-back strikeouts for Anthony Bass to start the bottom of the first.
And this one has some movement. It starts inside off the plate. Look at it come back. That is beautiful pitching.
Maddox-esque. So 2 up and 2 quickly set aside by Bass, and now David Wright, who had another huge night last night, 3 for 5, a double and a 2-run homer, lifted his batting average back over 400 to 405.
Well, this is another case of, we talked about Baxter taking advantage of opportunity, Gary. This young man Bass started out in the bullpen, but they've had so many injuries to their starting rotation. Corey Lupke, Joe Whelan, all went down.
Chase Headley handles the 2-hopper, throws out David Wright. A very impressive first inning for Anthony Bass as he sets the Mets down 1-2-3. 1-0 Padres after 1. Acura advance. Second inning, 1-0 San Diego. Chase Headley leads off against Dylan G and takes high ball 1. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, Gary, I was talking to Jeremy Hefner today and just asking him about yesterday and things that he took from that experience. And he said, well, I actually learned a lot. Believe it or not, he said in 6 years of professional baseball, it's the first time he's ever had to come out after a rain delay and pitch. And I guess there's a couple of reasons for that. A lot of times in the minors, they won't send you back out, but that's still pretty amazing as Murphy will handle this one to G. He said the other thing, you know, that I learned, first of all, I went in, I didn't know what to do. I asked Dan Worthen, what should I do? He said, you know, ride the bike for a while, then go and throw it, which he did. When he came out, he threw 25 pitches. He said, you know, I felt that was the right number, but looking back, I think I rushed. You know, I needed to realize that I had my own time to take my time to get ready for the game, and looking back, I don't think I did that, guys.
Well, it's certainly a skill that needs to be acquired, and I think you're right in the minor leagues. First of all, a lot of times when they have rain delays, the game gets rained out because the fields don't take water as well as they do in the majors. And second of all, they do protect young pitchers in those situations, as John Baker breaks his bat and rolls one out to Murphy, and quickly they're 2 away.
Yeah, I remember in my case in the minor leagues that there was no such thing as a rain out. They didn't want to lose a gate.
Well, Hefner, Terry Collins said, we'll get another crack next time through the rotation. That'll be against the Phillies on Tuesday night here at Citi Field. Beyond that, who knows? Right now, that's been a changeable spot in the rotation since Mike Pelfrey went down, and the Mets are holding the fort until Chris Young is ready, if he's ready. And for right now, Hefner is the guy. Here's Andy Perino, the switch hitting shortstop. 1 for 5 last night, drove in a pair of runs, and he takes a changeup for a strike.
I remember one particular game we were playing in Little Rock. We were playing in Memphis. It was the Memphis Mets back in 1973, their AA affiliate. And they had a special night where they sold the stadium out, and we had to, after that game, bus all the way to El Paso. So they weren't going to call that game. They brought in helicopters, torches. We waited there all night. That game didn't start till around 10 o'clock, and we got a late start to El Paso, like 1,000 miles away.
Good curveball by Dylan G, and he strikes out Perino to win the inning. Some nights you can get rained out easily. Not that one. Central Park. Plenty of time to enjoy the rest of this Friday at the beginning of the holiday weekend, or enjoy your box frites. Those are outstanding, by the way. Have you tried those with the dipping sauces? You got to go out there one of these days.
Gary, you're in much better shape than me. I can't do that kind of thing.
I've seen you riding the bike. You can eat your box frites and pedal at the same time. Lucas Duda leads off in the home second inning. Anthony Bass very impressive in the first. Now facing 4, 5, and 6 in the Mets order. Duda 1 for 3 last night. Continues to get a hit a day, but not hitting for any power.
I'd like to see Lucas just be more aggressive. And then that strikeout last night, he struck out on the up and in fastball, and that was in the 6th inning when men were on base. He took 2 fastballs knee high, which is his zone. I mean, that's his happy area, and I'd just like to see him be a little more aggressive at the plate.
Hits this one to deep right field. Back goes Venable to the track, looking up, and it's out of here off the Pepsi porch. Lucas Duda with his 5th home run of the year, his first in 4 weeks, and he ties the game at 1 apiece. April 28th in Colorado, the last time Duda went deep, and he hits this one off the Pepsi porch to tie up the ball game.
Well, trust your hand speed here. I thought this ball was by him, and look how quick his hands are on the replay. And take that, put that in your memory bank, Lucas. Quick bat.
Well, we saw him swing at a 3-0 pitch earlier this week, the first Met to do that all year, but he's been taking a lot of 2-0, 3-1. This time 2-0. He goes deep.
It's a guy that throws hard here too now. Oh, it was a changeup. Didn't get it away enough.
First run of the game brought to you by Chevy on the web at ChevyOffers.com. Daniel Murphy hits it sharply, but on the backhand, Cabrera throws him out for the first out of the inning.
No, he knew it.
And so did Lucas, who put his head down immediately. No showboating from this guy. 77 at bats between home runs for Lucas Duda. Now Ike Davis, who came off the bench last night and had a pinch hit single to drive in a couple of runs.
Be very curious to see how Bass elects to pitch to Ike, who's been very vulnerable to breaking stuff down in the dirt.
And he gets a first pitch fastball, something he has not seen often. The folks at Bloomberg ran the numbers, and Ike Davis has seen a lower percentage of fastballs than any hitter in the majors this year. Only 48.6% of the pitches he's seen have been fastballs, and he's the only guy in the majors who's under 50%.
And you know why? Because he keeps swinging at it. And if you're going to keep swinging at it, they'll keep feeding it to you.
Baz ahead 0-2, and he throws the fastball out of the strike zone to tease him.
So the other side of that is, Gary, when you come out of it and you stop swinging at those pitches and you start hitting 2-0 until the league catches on that you're laying off.
Popped up into shallow center. Perino gives way to Maben, and the center fielder two-hands it for the second out.
But Maben, on routine fly balls, looks like he's had all kind of difficulty. I mean, he has it. There's no question he's going to catch this ball, but look, it's not smooth at all. Starts and stops and stutters, and
he runs like a young colt. And then he's got that arm that he uses to swing for balance. So
he's going to the whip.
Here's Ronnie Cedeno with 2 out and nobody on. Ronnie led off last night, went 0 for 5, moved right back down to the 7-hole tonight. The leading off thing was something of an aberration for him. It was only the 5th time in his career he'd done it, and the first time since 2010. But Cedeno's done a nice job filling in for Ruben Tejada. He's played very steady defense. Got a .362 on base percentage even after that rough night last night. And for Ronnie, it has been something of a retransformation as far as his hitting style is concerned, because he's always been a very aggressive hitter.
Well, it's that man right there, Dave Hudgens. Nice breaking ball. Boy, this kid is something, got some good stuff. I like the fact, Garrett, that he gives up the home run to lead off the inning, and he's settled in. He was not the least bit phased for a 24-year-old.
Popped up on the right side, and Alonso, the first baseman, calls. Side retired. So Bass retires the next 3, but Lucas Duda led off the inning. His first home run in nearly a month. 5 for the year for Duda. That ties him for the club lead and ties up the ballgame 1-1. Honda. Visit your Honda dealer right now for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda.
And don't you forget it.
I think Rusty influenced her hair color there.
I bet you she was a Rusty Staub fan.
Erith Cabrera leads off in the third inning for San Diego. Cabrera had a huge night last night. His first career 4-hit game, went 4 for 5. And the switch hitter takes a strike, and it's 0-2.
And they weren't cheap hits. He hit the ball hard, those 4 hits.
He was 0 for 19 after they called him up from AAA to replace Jason Bartlett. And since then, he's 6 for 7. And it's a little tapper, and G comes off the mound to grab it. And Davis has to reach into the runner to get it. 1 away. That can be a dangerous play for a first baseman.
I always like to give the pitcher a target, because they're going to get that ball and they're going to throw it sidearm, and the ball's going to run up the line into foul territory. Give them that target with your glove hand, which was my right hand, towards the second base, so we have a target. Be surprised how that helps.
Keep you from getting hurt too. Anthony Bass takes it high. Bass has 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Bass is a Michigan native, came out of Wayne State in Detroit, and was a huge Cecil Fielder fan as a kid.
Well, he's driven in a run this year.
He's probably thinking of trying to turn on one, don't you think?
Oh, okay.
Cecil was his guy. Probably saw him hit 50 home runs.
Speaking of Detroit, they have been a big surprise, disappointment, huh?
Just got swept by Cleveland. Here's the 2-2 from G, and he throws the slider, and he gets Bass for the second out.
Well, I think G discovered that that slider is pretty good. Remember, he had the curveball first. Slider he's developed, and now, hey, throw it like that. That's what he did in Toronto. The fish are biting. That's a good bait pitch.
It's funny because that's a pitch he discarded last year. He just eliminated it. He started throwing a little bit of a cutter, but now he's gone back to throwing the slider, and last start he threw it 20% of the time, which was far more than he'd ever thrown that pitch before. So it just gives him that 4th weapon to use. Here's Will Venable, who walked and scored in the first inning. And he takes it to the knees for a strike.
Plus, the slider is a little bit better, easier of a pitch to command as opposed to a curveball. Dillon's got a big hook.
And of course, that changeup is his bread and butter, although it has not been nearly as effective this year as it was last year.
Well, you know, the hitters catch on.
And that's ripped down the right field line, and Venable's got himself another extra base hit. Duda digs it out, and Venable, who had 2 doubles last night, has his 11th double of the year.
Nice looking young player here. Didn't get it in enough, and he paid the price.
Well, he's the son of a hitting coach, you know.
Yeah, it's true. And Ronnie mentioned last night, I remember his father, Max, and with the Giants, the Padres, the Reds, he was a lot shorter and more stocky than his son. His son's a lot taller and leaner.
So the Padres have their second hit, and now here's Cameron Maybin, who swung at the first pitch he saw in the first inning and popped it up to Murphy. And this time he takes that first pitch low for ball 1.
They gave Maybin a big multi-year deal after only hitting 260 last year. And he's had a tough start, even though he had a big night last night.
Hitting just 222 at the moment. Got a 5-year contract. And that's laced into center field. It stays up for Nieuwenhuis, and the inning is over. Maybin hit that ball too hard, and Nieuwenhuis able to grab it, and G gets out of trouble. pitch for the bottom of the third. Rob Johnson will lead things off for New York. Johnson, who played with the Padres last year, is starting his third straight game. He's given the Mets a little offense in the wake of Josh Tolley's injury. And he's shown a little fearlessness throwing behind runners when he's been behind the plate.
He likes to throw, and that's for sure. And he's getting a lot of the playing time. He's getting the lion's share.
The story on Tolley is that they are hoping that Monday he will catch 5 innings in some kind of a setting, whether it's an extended spring game or a minor league game. So it's going to be probably at least another week for Josh as he comes back from a concussion.
And how long has it been since he's have not had the headaches? Well, quite some time,
right?
It's
been 2 weeks now. Yeah.
I almost feel it's overkill. I'm sorry. It's not like we're playing football.
Johnson drives one toward the gap in right center, but back goes Venable to grab it. And that's the first out.
We're not. I know that he's left foul tips off the mask and stuff like that, but I just feel it's not a contact sport. And you know, I know you want to err on the side of caution, and I know that Josh wants to play. But I think with the way things are today in sport, it's you know, it's spilled over in every sport now, where they're just everybody's being, well, not everybody. I think baseball's being a little bit overly cautious. My opinion.
Here's Dylan G. Well, I think the protocols have changed, and the Mets have certainly borne witness to that after what they went through with Ryan Church and with Jason Bay. I think they've really been chastened on the subject.
G drives one to deep left field. Back goes Guzman, and he won't get it. It's up against the wall, and Dylan G has an extra base hit.
Gets a fastball, first pitch, all over it, right down the pipe. Hey, good swing. There you go.
Second career double for Dylan. His first hit of this season. And the Mets have their second hit of the game. They've both gone for extra bases. Duda with a home run, and now G with a double. And Mike Baxter with a chance to drive him in. Baxter took a call third strike his first time up. Baxter, of course, came to the Mets from the Padres. They got him on waivers last year. He had spent 5 years in the San Diego organization. He's got a ton of friends on the other side, none more so than the Padres right fielder Will Venable, who Baxter says is one of his best friends in the world.
And he drives this one toward left center field, slicing away from Maben, who dives and can't make the catch. G around third. He'll come in to score. Baxter into second. Back-to-back doubles for G and Baxter, and the Mets take the lead. It's 2-1.
Well, I tell you what I like about this at bat is that he got pounded. A nice effort by Maben, but this ball sliced away from him. Is that Baxter was struck out looking the first at bat. And nice base running by G for a pitcher. Nicely done, right in the middle. You can trot home. But Baxter was pounded inside his first at bat, Garrett, predominantly. I mean, struck out a fastball away. Didn't phase him. Got a ball away, went right with it.
Now Kirk Neuenhuis takes a changeup up and away. So G scoring on the double by Baxter, and the Mets in front for the first time tonight. Neuenhuis went down looking his first time up. And another changeup from Bass. A ball and a strike to Neuenhuis. Well, Mike Baxter continues to produce his 9th double, his 9th RBI. He's only had 52 at bats. So not only is he hitting, he is slugging. I mean, here's a guy who does not have a home run, and yet his slugging percentage coming into the day was .560, which is awfully impressive for a guy who doesn't hit home runs.
Well, Baxter has just been really terrific.
Neuenhuis laces a base hit into right center. That'll bring home Baxter. 3 straight hits for New York. Neuenhuis with an RBI single, and it's 3-1 Mets.
Well, a ditto on that base hit. Neuenhuis struck out looking overmatched the first at bat. Didn't phase him. Stays right in. And Bass not locating his fastball and getting torched.
Right over the middle of the plate, that fastball that he ran to the inside corner against Neuenhuis' first time up, this time right over the heart of the plate. So Neuenhuis has his 15th run batted in. 3-1 New York, and now David Wright, who bounced out to third his first time up. And a first pitch breaking ball dribbled past the mound. Perino just gets to the bag ahead of Neuenhuis for the second out.
Well, I'm sure that David right there would wish to take that pitch back. It was a good changeup, not a good pitch to hit. Nice hustle by Neuenhuis.
It wound up being a pretty close play. So 2 out, Wright is at first, and here's Lucas Duda, who pounded one off the Pepsi porch for a home run his first time up. He'd gone 77 at bats without one, and the Padres are going to put on a full shift against Duda.
And I agree with the shift, Garrett. I would even move those 2 infielders on the right side, the shortstop and the second baseman, out in the outfield grass.
Well, if you're going to play the shift against him, why would you be pitching him away like that?
Because Lucas has been pulling that pitch too. Lucas has forgotten all about left field, or left center.
Maybe he needs to drop down a bunch, dissuade them from this idea.
I saw Dave Kingman do that one time when I was a Cardinal. And to tell you the truth, I was very, very happy that he put down the bunt because he was red hot.
Right with 4 steals on the year, and Duda takes inside, a ball and a strike. They've been doing that more than anything to Duda over the last couple of weeks, just pounding him mercilessly inside.
Well, when you used to be, when you first came up, they would pound you inside, see if you can hit the fastball.
And again, he comes in with the slider, and Bass gets ahead 1-2.
I think it all of a sudden Bass now has realized, okay, I'm good, but not that good. I just can't throw the ball by these guys, and I better start pitching and locating.
Bass, over his last 3 starts before this, posted a 1.83 ERA, but he's now been touched for 3 runs and 4 hits inside of 3 innings tonight.
I like his stuff. 24 years old.
1-2 to Duda. 3 pitches in a row in, and now it's 2-2. Duda, Wright, and Davis now each with 5 home runs, and that ties that trio for the club lead. The pop up on the third base side. The catcher, Baker, with the only chance, and he comes back and grabs it. Nice play by Baker to end the inning. Third baseman Headley was so far off the line there was no help forthcoming. Well, the Mets tack on a couple. Dylan G and Mike Baxter with back-to-back doubles. Neuenhuis adds ahead, and it's 3-1 New York. on Dealers National Tent event. Day games tomorrow and Sunday. Day game with the Phillies on Monday, Memorial Day, starting a 3-game series, and then 4 with the Cardinals wrapping up the homestand.
Well, Memorial Day weekend, it kicks in the summer, and that means less off days, lots of baseball.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
Yonder Alonso takes a strike. Dylan G working with a lead for the first time tonight. Alonso had a pop fly single his first time up, and then got doubled off first base. And the curveball sits high 2-1. Let's check in with Kevin.
Alonso and his family came over from Cuba when he was 9 years old, and he said, you know, baseball was life. It was the only sport in that country. His dad and his uncle actually played pro ball in Cuba, and for him, it's all about the relationship with his dad in the game. You know, he was always tailing his dad. Later, his father became a third base coach on one of the teams there when he was about 7, always with him taking BP before the games. And then when they came over here, father got a job at a baseball academy before ages 9 to 14. So, of course, Alonso went right in with that. He's coached him his entire life. He said the beautiful thing is we talk every game. He watches every single game. He knows how hard the game is, but he also knows what I'm capable of and what my limitations are. So we have that great relationship. When I get on the phone with them, Mom isn't always so understanding, but Dad, he understands a little bit better. Guys.
Alonso coming over to this country, grew up in Florida, then went and had a great college career at the University of Miami. First round pick by the Reds, 7th overall, and he has been expected to be the big hitter. It's taken him a couple of years to find a position, but now getting a chance to play every day with the Padres. And he goes down swinging on the fastball by G, and Dylan has his 3rd strikeout.
Well, good movement on that fastball. Watch it run away. And fish for biting. This is what Dylan needs to do on both sides of the plate.
So Alonso retired, 1 away, and now here's Jesus Guzman, who was absolutely robbed of an extra base hit on a great catch against the left field fence by Mike Baxter his first time up. Venable scored from 3rd, but Alonso got doubled off first on that play. And a ground ball right at Daniel Murphy, and quickly there are 2 out. Dylan G settling into the same kind of groove he got in Toronto last Sunday. That was a must-win game for the Mets. They had lost the first 2 games of that series, blown out the first game, and blanked by Brandon Morrow in the second game. And G gave them exactly what they needed after they got him a few runs to work with early.
Well, you know, this club has been resilient. They have came into this season, we've talked about it ad nauseum, with no expectations, and they've got pluck.
Spunk. You got spunk, Mary. I hate spunk.
They're like a dog on your pant leg.
It's the 2-0, and it's fouled off by Headley, 2-1. Well, you know, we saw signs of it last year with this team too, but this year they seem to be doing it with a little less talent to it too. I mean, last year you had Reyes and you had Beltran, you had K-Rod, all those guys were here. Now you have a lot less established team, and a team much more in the manager's image.
No question. And I think also the manager is on the same page as the general manager, Sandy Alderson. I mean, obviously Sandy Alderson was the one that hired Terry Collins. So a general manager is not going to hire someone he doesn't care for. So it has been a whole new tone that has been set with this ball club. They're young and hungry, and you know, they're a team to like.
7th pitch of the at bat, and the curveball bounced slowly down to Ike Davis. G gets over to cover, and Dylan has a 1-2-3 inning after being given the lead in the top of the 4th. 3-1 Mets.
get to see the replay very quick, see all the great plays in action.
That's not surprising, the kind of expertise within the Diamond Vision control room, where technicians oversee the state-of-the-art in full-color, giant-sized video display equipment, the rival of many a television studio, all producing the most spectacular and engaging kind of scoreboard anywhere in the world.
Technology's come a long way in 30 years, hasn't it?
Boy, still had the kiss cam back then.
That's from 1982. Looks like an old Atari system.
Oh, that's amazing, huh? The new control center here. It is like a command center.
More like a spaceship. Daniel Murphy swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Murph going through a skid right now. Grounded out his first time up tonight. 0 for his last 14. Longest drought of his career is 0 for 16. There's
the new one.
Look at what goes on now.
Is that our voices, you think?
Command Central. Well, I don't know. If you yell, maybe you can make the make the levels jump there. Go ahead.
That's amazing. Hello. I don't think it's us.
2-2 to Murphy.
Don't pay attention to me.
Ike Davis on deck, then Ronnie Cedeno in the bottom of the fourth. Now Anthony Bass with the 2-2, and Murphy trying to hold the swing, and he went around for strike 3. Jeff Nelson punches him out from third base, and Murph a tad incredulous.
Well, a lot of times your body, let's see. Well, I think he's got a gripe. Murph, that is.
Did not look like he offered at it. In any event, when you're going bad, this is what happens.
It's a tough breaking ball to lay off. I did not think he swung at all. Oh, he's hot, but don't get thrown out, Murph.
And Jeff Nelson, the third base umpire, just put up his hand as if to say enough.
No. He should focus on the foul line. Over the third base foul line.
Ike Davis flying to center his first time up, and able to lay off the first pitch slider this time. Guess umpires will give you just enough rope. And bats, the slivers of the bat go flying. The ball stays foul, although it had enough spin on it. It might have come back fair, but well, Keith, bats didn't used to break like that.
No, they didn't. And if it's not a maple and it's a white ash, that'd be calling Louisville and saying, "Hey, you're sending me balsa wood."
Do you get better bats as your average goes up?
You get better bats when you're a veteran and you can hit. And the whole key is getting a wider grain. That's what you want. And I will explain here that if you run your fingernail along the grain of the bat, that's where you can make an indentation. You can't do it in between the grain on the wood. The wood's hard. So the wider the grain, the more hard the surface.
That looks like a maple bat that Ike is using.
So you see the grain there runs from the handle to the end of the bat, obviously. That's where you get the bat's pliable.
So you're saying Ike might be a victim of narrow grain?
Well, no. I tell you what, if I had a bat that did that, I wouldn't want this bat.
3-2
to see right here. This bat, I don't know if you could tell, but this is very thin grain. But if I can run my nail along the groove along the grain. I cannot do it in between. So before they outlawed grooving, then that's not dancing. You should get a key and run and groove all the grains on the hitting surface right from the sweet spot, and then you would get the elevated surface would be in between the grain of the wood, and then you would go in front of a sink and you would bone it. It's called boning, and harden the surface. Now the reason why they banned it was a lot of guys cheated and put rosin in the grooves and then burnt the rosin in. Or get a flame treated bat and burn the rosin in, and that would act as a little sponge. It would aid the ball going further. So that's why grooving was outlawed. I never did that, but I did groove my bats, and I was very upset when they outlawed it.
Sounds like a very sophisticated science. Davis on first with a walk. Ronnie Cedeno the batter, and he flies one foul down the right side, and that'll go out of play. You know what? It's the same as in any other endeavor. give you guys an inch, people are always going to try and take advantage.
I know. I knew guys that put rosin in there and did that, and it was an art to it. And those are always, I never used a flame-tempered bat. I thought the flame-tempered kind of dried the wood out. I got the regular finish on the bat.
Now, I don't know if you're at liberty to name names about people who put rosin.
That's too long ago.
I mean, is it safe to name names?
It's too long. I was a Cardinal. I was actually I was playing with Ted Simmons when it was banned. And then, but Ted didn't do that. Well, Ted grooved, but he stopped grooving when everybody grooved. Well, you're stupid if you didn't, because it was a plus. But still, there was with grooving
on a Sunday afternoon.
There were 210 hitters back then. You know, there were 300 and 210 hitters. So it didn't add extra mileage on how far you hit the ball.
Slowly hit. Perino will have to go to first with it and get Cedeno for the second out as Davis moves up to second. So 2 out and a runner in scoring position. Number 8 hitter coming up. Let's see how the Padres deal with Rob Johnson. They obviously know him well, and they're going to walk him intentionally. Johnson's been swinging the bat pretty well, and so they'll go after Dylan G. Instead, of course, Dylan burned them with a double his first time up, but they'll take the chances with the pitcher rather than with Johnson.
Well, you know, you can't second guess the walk here. I tell you what, I would go after him. You got a slow runner on second base. Johnson hasn't got a lot of power. I would pitch him. I think it's so critical to have that pitcher leading off an inning. And you got a pitcher out there with good stuff. It's the 8th hitter in the lineup. Bud. There's Bud. I went down and talked to Bud, my old teammate with Cleveland. My 1 year with Cleveland. One of the good guys, buddy.
So 2 men aboard and Dylan G coming up. Dylan picked up his second career double his first time up, hitting it over the head of the left fielder Guzman, and then he came around to score the go-ahead run. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves have gone home after getting swept the 4-game series in Cincinnati. Tim Hudson took the mound in the first inning against Washington, and the Nats put up a 4 spot against him. Rick Ankiel, a 2-run triple in that first inning, and the Nats lead the Braves 4-0 in the first.
If you're going to get Hudson, who's pitching great, you got to get him early.
Washington 1 game ahead of Atlanta now in the National League East. So here's G. See if he can duplicate his first at bat. He had gone 0 for 11 before that 2-base hit. Now the breaking ball misses, and Bass all of a sudden pitching G like a hitter. Has fallen behind 2-0.
Well, he got the hit on the fastball first pitch his first time up. It's not Babe Ruth up there.
Davis at second and Johnson at first with 2 out. That's already up 3-1 in the 4th. And G takes a strike. 2-1. Pops this one up along the right field line. And the first baseman Alonso stays with it and makes the play. And that ends the inning.
Had it all the way.
Well, he had it. And then he squeezed it. You would have made the play that way. Maybe not. vehicles with the best values in America. Visit your Tri-State Ford dealers today. John Baker leads off the 5th inning for San Diego. The former Marlin grounded out his first time up. It's been a long road back for Baker. 3 years ago, he was the Marlins' #1 catcher. Looked like he was headed for a really good career, but then he hurt his elbow, had Tommy John surgery, and he's really missed 2 complete seasons. Now he's with the Padres as a backup to Nick Hundley behind the plate. And he takes an off-speed pitch for a strike from G. 1-1. Well, Dylan G settling right back in to where he was in his last start in Toronto. He's given up just a run on 2 hits over the first 4 innings. And Baker lines one to the left for a base hit. So the Padres have the leadoff man on in the 5th. Their 3rd hit off G, and Andy Perino coming up. This is a San Diego team that has really struggled offensively this year. But last night they broke out big time. They scored 4 runs in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th off Jeremy Hefner. It was the first time this season that the Padres had put multiple run innings back to back in their 46th game. They were the only team in the majors that had not had back to back multiple run innings.
Well, he got the big hit last night when the Mets clawed back to 6-3. The batter prior, Hundley, was struck out, and Johnson thought there was 2 outs on the steal, 3 outs. And Perino followed with a 2 RBI, 2-out base hit up the middle. And the Padres have been really abysmal hitting as a team with runners in scoring position at .202 coming into this game. And that added on from all the runs they drove in last night. So prior to last night, they were on the interstate driving in runs.
Of course, part of the issue for the Padres is they've had so many injuries. We talked earlier about some of their starting pitchers who went down. Corey Lupke, who's having Tommy John surgery, and Tim Stauffer, who's having some elbow problems, and Dustin Mosley, who's been out since the early part of the year. But they've also missed bats, including Carlos Quentin, who has yet to play for San Diego. Now, Quentin is coming back from knee surgery, and he had started a rehab stint and stopped because he was having some pain in that knee, but he's starting again tonight. And if they can get Quentin back, and he can be a legitimate big-time hitter in the middle of their lineup. That's ripped down the right field line by Perino, headed toward the corner, and it's a foul ball. He getting fortunate there. That almost landed for another extra base hit.
Well, he got that pitch up. And you are correct. That had 2nd and 3rd written all over it. The big blow for the Padres, though, was losing their first baseman to Boston, Adrian Gonzalez, 2 years ago, and they've never been able to replace that bat. He was such a fixture in that lineup, and so much was asked of him. But he had so many great years with the Padres and really didn't have a lot of help.
Well, that's the thing. He was able to produce even when he had no protection at all in that batting order. Now he's a right fielder in Boston, with the Red Sox having lost 6 outfielders to the disabled list. And the changeup blown away, and now G behind on Perino, 3-1. Everett Cabrera, the number 8 hitter, waiting on deck. Perino takes a strike on the inside edge, 3-2.
Wow. Thought that ball was inside. He must be crowding the plate. Wants it away, and this is on the other side of the plate. No, that got a corner. Good call.
First full count that G has run tonight. Baker at first and nobody out, and Perino got something in his eye.
I used to pull that trick.
Did it work?
No, never did.
Just buying time.
John Lennon mind games.
And there's ball 4, and the Padres have 2 men on. Second walk issued by G. Here's your chance to win a fantastic at 50 Mets jersey. Just text Darling to 48593 to enter. Message and data rates may apply. Would we be texting Darling if he were here? The only text in his absence. Ken Worth now for a conversation. G's given up a single and a walk to start this 5th inning. He's got the 8 and 9 hitters coming up.
I never realized all year that the back of the hats had the 50th anniversary logo.
Do you know there's one on the sleeve of the uniform?
I knew that, but I never knew on the back of the hat. Where have I been?
Are you going to be here for Banner Day Sunday?
This Sunday?
Yeah, of course.
I'm here.
You're not a judge, are you?
No, Rusty is. He's very excited.
It's one of those promotions that the Mets brought back this year by popular demand in honor of the 50th anniversary. Here's Cabrera, retired on a comebacker his first time up, and chases the first pitch changeup. Looked like Cabrera was going with the pitching coach went to the mound, I'm going to get a fastball theory.
It's a young hitter. It means you're not getting a first pitch fastball.
Ball to strike to Cabrera, who was acquired in the Rule 5 draft by the Padres from Colorado a few years ago. And he's been up and down between San Diego and the minors. Had one spectacular moment against the Mets a couple of years ago when he hit a grand slam off Francisco Rodriguez out at Petco Park.
He laid off that change. Laid off that one. So now the tables are kind of turned on Dillon here. Has not thrown a fastball for a strike yet. He got a gift when Cabrera swung on a bad pitch. This is a big key pitch for Dillon.
Tying runs on base and nobody out, and Cabrera asks for time.
I always felt that was a good thing to do. Step out pitchers in a tight spot. First 2 runners on base. Last guy who walked. Don't let him get a rhythm. He's in the hot seat out there. The pitcher, that is.
The pitcher Bass on deck.
Well, he got his fastball in a hitter's count. Got to crowd this kid. It was a fastball in, and he jammed him.
Tough man to double up with speed from the left side. Fouls away another fastball.
2 good pitches inside by Dillon. 2 inside fastballs located well. Now he can come back maybe with that changeup and see if he's going to fish for it.
Now the 2-2, and Cabrera goes down swinging. So he came right back to that changeup for the first out of the inning.
Well set up by the 2 fastballs in, Gare, and did not swing at a strike. So good pitching. And one thing I like about G, and I've said it before, is that you have to beat him. He's unflappable. He's not going to knuckle under when he's in trouble. He'll go after hitters. You get him, you have to go out, and you earn it if you get him.
So now the pitcher Bass will come up, and the Mets will look for the sacrifice. Bass struck out his first time up. Baker at second, Perino at first with 1 out. 3-1 New York in the 5th.
Be careful, don't give him a first pitch swing or not.
And he fouls off the bunt attempt.
Padres have not executed their pitchers at all with the sacrifice bunt this series. Last night they were awful.
Padre pitchers as a group have only 7 sacrifice bunts this year.
And David very aggressive in, so is Ike. Ike's got no one to hold on. Yes, put pressure on him.
And he bunts and misses, and it's 0-2.
Oh, watch him stab. Stabbing. What did we call it last night? El Stabo?
That was your first El Stabo. Now it's your second. That's still expecting the bunt on 0-2. And Bass gets it down fair. Johnson to third. Right with the return to first. Not in time. Well, Bass got it fair, but not far enough away from the plate, and the Mets get the lead runner.
Tell you what, Bass runs pretty good to get down the line here and beat this ball. He beat it easy. He can run. That could have, you would have thought that would have been 2. He can fly, that kid. So he's an athlete.
So now 2 out and 2 on for Will Venable, who's putting together a fine series. Tonight a walk and a double. And the first pitch curve, and he fouls it off his leg, and that hurt.
Well, and a good curveball right there. Down and in.
One of the few that Dillon has thrown tonight. And Venable really got bruised.
Let's see where it got him. Calf. Oh, on the instep. Oh well. Well, puppies are barking.
Now it makes you think about Cody Ross, who broke his foot in just that fashion the other day with the Red Sox. And you see him pointed to that spot right on the top of the foot where that bone protrudes.
Usually the back foot.
Usually it's the front foot you worry about.
Well, one thing's for certain, when you get back in the box and you hit, your foot is like hyper, it's bouncing in a very, it's like, I can't find the words.
It's throbbing.
Say that again?
Spasming.
Yes.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. Bob Black has looked in his dugout a couple of times. I don't think he's certain that Venable's staying in this game.
Oh, you got to stay in. Come on.
Well, he's hot, so you'd think he wants to stay in, and he will.
Get a little dirt and rub it in. As Frank Zappa would say, rub it.
Diva would say, whip it. Perino at second, Bass at first with 2 out. So Venable back in the box with a throbbing left foot and an 0-1 count. G trying to put this inning to bed. And Venable fouls one into the mid of Johnson this time, and it's 0-2.
Throw it by him. Good spot. He's locating up and in. Beautiful.
Looked very steady on his pins on that swing. See if G goes upstairs again.
Wants it down.
And the curveball in there for a call, strike 3. Adding insult to injury, Venable is down looking, and G strands 2. They are saying it every night. Help Me Howard's tackling swindlers and fighting for you. Plus, Greg Mocker's always on the trail of something different. Weeknights at 5 and 10 on the Pix 11 News. It is the 50th anniversary of the New York Mets. Great pitching tradition over the last 50 years, and Dylan G pitching well tonight. Third time around the batting order for the Mets against Anthony Bass. Mike Baxter will lead it off. Baxter drove in the go-ahead run with a double to left center in the third inning. 1 for 2 on the night. And Mike takes the slider low and in for ball 1. It'll be Baxter, Neuenhuis, right at the top of the batting order for New York. Mike had never hit leadoff in a big league game until this week, and now starting his third game in that leadoff spot. And why not, with a .431 on base percentage coming into the night?
And he can run. You look at him and you don't think that you think he's going to be clogging up the bases, but he can fly.
One-two from Bass, and he couldn't tempt Baxter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Baxter, the Queens native, having a chance to play for his hometown team, and the Mets added another local kid today. As Baxter gets tied up, and he went around for strike 3.
Boy, oh boy.
Jeff Nelson's been a tough grader down there at third base. Called out Murphy the last inning, and now Baxter.
It's not a strike. Boy, I tell you what, he tied him up inside. I don't think that's a swing. I'm sorry.
I don't think so either. I don't think Murphy's was either. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Kirk Neuenhuis. Anyway, the Mets today sent Robert Carson back down to the minors, and they called up Jack Egbert, who had some previous big league experience with the White Sox. Right-handed relief pitcher. Egbert, who was born in Staten Island, grew up in Jersey, went to Rutherford High School, and then on to Rutgers. Is in the bullpen and available for the Mets tonight, wearing number 61. Ball and a strike to Neuenhuis. Here's Jack, just arrived today from Buffalo.
Pedro Beato got called up to AAA, so he's on the mend.
Neuenhuis has his second hit of the night. That just hits line drives. It's amazing for a guy who strikes out as much as he does, but when he makes contact, it's usually a rope.
He's a very impressive young hitter, and when young hitters like fastballs, when he gets a little more pitch recognition and learns to lay off that breaking stuff and down and in out of the strike zone, and the changeup sinking out of the strike zone.
So the Mets have their 5th hit of the night. 1 out and 1 on. Here's David Wright, who twice has hit the ball on the ground tonight. 0 for 2. David began the night at .405, now at an even .400 for the year. 150 at bats into his season. Lucas Duda on deck. And that one skips away from Baker, and down to second goes Neuenhuis. So the wild pitch moves Neuenhuis into scoring position.
Oh, this is not how you get in front of a ball. He tries to pancake it. Did not do anything to smother the ball.
So let's see how carefully Neuenhuis works to right here. You got Duda, who's already homered tonight, waiting on deck. First base open, 1-0 to right, and he throws the slider off the plate, 2-0. Well, you mentioned Pedro Beato on the mend. Moved up to AAA Buffalo, so he may be on the horizon. Also on the horizon, we mentioned earlier, Chris Young, who pitched tonight for St. Lucie in his latest rehab stint. And there's another slider, so he looks like he wants no part of right. It's 3-0.
But you know, he's pitching right very carefully. He's just missing. It's really, it's very, it's like a strategic surgical strike here.
David doesn't often swing 3-0, but he does here, and he fouls it off. First time that Wright has swung 3-0 this season. Anyway, Young tonight for St. Lucie went 6 1/3, 3 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 1 strikeout. Chris had missed a start because, for 2 reasons, because his wife was having a baby, and also because he was going through a little bit of a dead arm period, as pitchers often do during spring training. So it'll be intriguing to see just how many more starts Young will need before he is ready to pitch at this level. 3-2 to right. Have to figure they're going to want to get him at least 1 start at a higher level than St. Lucie before he's ready to go. But the fact that he went 6 1/3 already, I think, is encouraging.
The club's is right in the thick of things right here. There's no reason to rush, and just make sure that what they do, if he's healthy and they feel he can pitch up here, that he's ready.
And what you hope is that once Young comes back, that he can stay healthy, because that's been the biggest issue of all for Chris during his career. 3-2 to right, and a high fly ball hit to center. Maben barely has to move. Nieuwenhuis tags at second, and he moves over. So Wright flies out, 2 out in the inning.
Well, very impressive. Fell behind David 3-0, pitching around him, we felt, and then went after him 3-0, 3-1 with fastballs, and then came inside and didn't get it there. David missed it. But this guy's an alpha out there. He's an alpha male. I'm talking about Anthony Bass. He's a competitor.
Now Duda bats with 2 out and a runner at third, and they do not overshift the way they did his last at bat. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Last time they had 3 infielders on the right side, and Headley playing a shortstop position. Of course, Headley can't get that far away because he got a runner at third. But the shortstop Perino playing to the left of the bag this time. Straightens him up, ball and a strike. Lucas stopped a 77 at bat home run drought by going deep his first time up tonight. Then he fouled out to the catcher Baker, who made a nice play in the third. Danny Murphy waiting on deck.
Lucas really sits back on that back leg, doesn't he?
And he lines one down the right field line, just foul. Just a little too quick on that slider. Nieuwenhuis at third and 2 out. 2-2 to Duda, and he has to skip out of the way of that one. 3-2.
I have not seen a starting pitcher in a long time get hitters to move their feet, pitch inside like this young man is.
It's a nice game plan, isn't it? Now a full count to Lucas, and he watches wide ball 4. So Bass has issued his 3rd walk of the night, and the Mets have runners at the corners with Murphy coming up. And the pitching coach Darren Balsley will take a trip to the mound to talk to Bass, who's 85 pitches deep, working here in the 5th. Bass went 6 innings in his last start through 97 pitches against the Angels. A no decision game for him, in which he gave up 2 runs and 5 hits. Tonight he's given up 3 runs and 5 hits as he works in the 5th. Well, we mentioned Duda breaking his 77 at bat home run drought. Daniel Murphy's now gone 255 at bats without a home run, dating back to last season. Murphy has seen his batting average shrink below 300 by going 0 for his last 15. Nice time to break out here with 1st and 3rd and 2 out. And Murphy takes a strike.
Well, that's why ideally, I mean, you can hit Murph second you can hit him third. That's the ideal spots for him. And you don't need the home run. Just get on base, drive in the runs when they're out there.
Has 16 RBIs for the year. And he drives one the other way, and that's a fair ball going into the corner. Neuenhuis is in. Duda will be stopped at third. Daniel Murphy with an RBI double, and it's 4-1 New York. So Murphy snaps an 0 for 15 skid with an opposite field double to drive in a run.
Well, this is a little slash right here. Cut and slash. Hit it right where it was pitched. Had a lot of play change up, and look, he just slashed it right down the left field line. His whole intention was to go up the middle. That is good hitting. Sometimes I think when Daniel struggles, he always wants to see the ball deeper into the towards the catcher. I think he waits too long, gets too defensive. You're not going to get out of a slump by being defensive. I know he was taught that way, but that was beautifully done right there.
So now 2 more in scoring position for Ike Davis. And he lines one toward the middle for a base hit. Duda is in. Murphy right behind him. It's a 2-run single for Ike Davis, and it's 6-1 New York. Second straight night that Ike has come up with 2 in scoring position and driven them both in.
Well, maybe it did ease his mind to tell him he's not going down. A good thing to do. This is a hanging, it's a changeup, and he stayed back. Still a little out in front, but nevertheless, all positive.
So the Mets have scored 3 runs after 2 were out. Where have you heard that theme before? This team's been doing that all year.
Yes, they have. That's a pretty good pitcher here they're touching up.
Well, it's got to feel awfully good for Ike Davis. Miles Mikolas, the right-hander, up in the San Diego bullpen. Mets are 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight, after going just 1 for 9 last night. And Cedeno hits one out to right center field, but Venable cuts over to grab it, and that ends the inning. But the Mets put up 3. Murphy with an RBI double. Davis drives in 2. It's 6-1 Mets after 5. A 6-1 lead after taking it on the chin last night. The Mets have been hitting the line drives tonight, and Dylan G has been awfully good over the first 5 innings, allowing just a run on 3 hits. 2, 3, and 4 in the San Diego batting order. Cameron Maybin, Yonder Alonso, and Jesus Guzman against G in the 6th.
And this has been a tough venue for G. 4 starts here. He's 0-3 with an ERA over 7 at City. So he has spotted a nice 5-run cushion and looking really in a groove.
Last year it was just the other way around for Dillon. He was 7-3, 3.17 at Citi Field. Well, you never know whether that's coincidence or not. How about this? Remember the game that Brandon Morrow pitched against the Mets last Saturday in Toronto? He was just brilliant. Well, tonight Morrow is pitching in Texas. He's given up 6 runs in the first inning, and it's still not over. A little different level of offense there in Texas.
Early shower.
1-2 to Maben. Well, you wonder sometimes, pitchers are so unaccustomed to going the distance these days. A little tapper back to the mound, and G is there to play it. You wonder if when a pitcher goes 9 innings, whether it takes more out of them than it used to and make it tougher to bounce back that next start.
It's okay. Yeah, you got a point. I mean, they're not conditioned even in the minor leagues.
Oh, especially in the minor leagues.
Of course, they're really
throwing 50 pitches, 75 pitches.
They're really babying down there.
1 out and nobody on. Here's Yonder Alonso, a pop fly single and a strikeout. He's 1 for 2. And a swing and a foul tip at the plate. 0-1.
Oh, home plate umpire Bill Welke's a lefty. I like it. Member of the club.
They won't let lefties catch. Why do they let them up? Have you ever figured out why they don't let lefties catch?
I heard what the throw to third base.
So what? I mean, I've seen catchers throw to first base. Haven't you? And they don't seem to have any trouble doing that. So why would that be different? Fly ball out to right field. And Duda back to the edge of the track to grab it. And Alonso retired, 2 out. Time to look at the play of the game, brought to you by Mazda and the all-new Mazda CX-5, 35 highway miles per gallon. This is Mike Baxter.
Well, a fine play by Baxter. The run does count in this double play. Also behind that, the nice hit the cutoff man coming in. Misses the cutoff man. There's no double play.
By the way, I'm sure there are some young fans who are wondering, why does that run count? After all, the out is made at first. It's not considered a force play, so the issue is timing. If the run crosses the plate before the out's made at first, the run counts. If the out's made at first before the runner from third crosses the plate, the run would not count.
And another lesson for those kids, young kids out there, I have seen runs not count because someone Cadillac'd at home. And by Cadillacing, if that's a little dated, trot home. You know, you always want to hustle home from third, score that run. I've seen guys kind of half step at home and they don't get there in time.
Style it. Strike 3 call. Guzman out looking. 6 strikeouts for Dylan G. And he is rolling tonight. Here's that play from back in the first inning. Baxter with the terrific catch. And Venable able to cross the plate before the out was made at first. That's the only run for the Padres tonight. 6-1 New York.
up last night by the Padres. Everything clicking, including Dylan G. And you look at this Mets team, and, you know, I was thinking back to 2010 about the Padres that year. Everyone thought that team would be terrible. They'd finish last in the NL West. And in 2009, San Diego was a 75-win team. Well, in 2010, they changed everything. They had a great year. They won 90 games. They took it down to the last series of the year where they gave it away to the Giants. And, you know, I talked to Scotty Harrison, who, of course, on the Mets now was on that Padres team, and both Will Venable with the Padres was on that squad as well. Venable said, you know, it was the type of thing where it was the right mix. You know, came to the park and kind of coaching staff told us in the spring what we would need to do to win, and we went out and executed that, and we really believed we could win as the Mets have themselves another base hit. This time it's Rob Johnson who'll lead it off here in the inning. He said that combined with, we had some really good veteran leadership on that team. You know, like Ravi Torrealba, David Eckstein, Matt Stairs, a lot of those guys very, very helpful. You know, when I talked to Harrison, he brought up the same points, and he said, you know, there are a lot of similarities, I think. He said the thing is with that team and with this Mets team, everyone always talked about what we couldn't do, but no one ever brought up what our strengths were. That was never discussed. He said the other thing that I think that, you know, you think about maybe even 10, 15 years ago when rookies, when young guys came up, the integration was a little different. You know, they didn't always feel like part of the team right away. There was, you know, that took a lot of time and the hazing and everything like that. So now young guys come up, and on that team and on this team, they're welcomed as a big part of the team right away. I think that's been a big factor here, guys.
By the way, happy birthday wishes to Scott Hairston, who turned 32 today.
Well, I can attest to what Kevin said and how things have changed today. I grew up in a locker room as a rookie with Bob Gibson, Joe Torre, Tim McCarver, and with Gibson, you were a plebe.
G gets the bunt down. Headley will go to first with it. 5-4 on the sacrifice, moving Johnson up to second. Alex Hinshaw, the lefty, up in the bullpen for San Diego. Well, it's, you know, it's some years things go right for you, some years they don't. Kevin was mentioning that in 2009, the Padres won 75. Then they won 90 in 2010 and came very close to making the postseason, but then they won 71 last year. It's awfully hard, especially for a small market team, to maintain that level of success. Double switch coming for the Padres. Kristen Norfia coming in, so is Alex Hinshaw. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Fios for America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. 6-1 Mets in the 6th. We'll be right back. Citi Field is brought to you by Citi, the official sponsor of Team USA. Together every step of the way. First night of the holiday weekend, and the Mets and the Padres here at Citi Field on a nice night. No rain tonight to play through as we had here last night. Should be a very nice weekend in New York. Double switch for the Padres. Chris Denorfia comes in to play left field. He'll bat ninth. And the new pitcher Alex Hinshaw will hit fourth as Jesus Guzman came out. Hinshaw pitched the ninth inning in yesterday's game. Did not allow a hit. Walked one as he finished off the Padres 11-5 rout. Comes in here to face Mike Baxter with Johnson at second and one out. Mets with a 6-1 lead as they bat in the sixth. Baxter gave the Mets the lead with a run scoring double in the third. 1 for 3 on the night. And Hinshaw throws a fastball for a strike. Hinshaw brought in with 2 left-hand hitters. Baxter and Nieuwenhuis coming up. Dylan G already 5 runs to the good.
Thatcher has been the more effective left-hander out of the bullpen against left-hand hitters. Ooh, he throws hard, this kid, huh? Thatcher's lefties are 2 for 16 off him. Hinshaw 3 for 11 against lefties thus far, but he's a hard thrower.
Padres got him as a minor league free agent. He had a couple of cups of coffee with the Giants over the last 4 years. Ball and 2 strikes to Baxter. So Anthony Bass, who looked awfully good, nonetheless, in 5 1/3, gave up 8 hits and 6 runs so far. Walked 3, 1 intentional, struck out 4, a wild pitch and a home run. So Bass, who had been putting up terrific numbers, takes it on the chin tonight.
Well, I think it says a lot about this Met lineup.
And time asked for by Baxter. Hinshaw was consumed with Johnson, who was dancing off second base. Rob Johnson continues to get on base. 4th straight game he started that he's had a hit in. And there's a pretty lively competition going on now between Johnson and Mike Nickius to be the guy who stays when Josh Thole comes back. Breaking ball off the plate, 2-2.
Well, if it's any indicator, Johnson has been getting the more playing time.
We had the bruised thumb, which forced him to sit for the better part of 4 or 5 days, but now he's started the last 3 and he continues to hit. Baxter fouls it back.
Just setting up a way. They threw a fastball. The second strike to Baxter, inside corner right by him. 1-2 count, and now they just want to stay away. I just think that a hitter with 2 strikes is much more vulnerable inside, particularly when you got a hard thrower like this young man out there.
Two from Hinshaw, and Baxter trying to take one toward the middle. It hits the back of the mound, or it might have hit Hinshaw. He comes up limping, and Baxter is thrown out by Perino. He hit something, and apparently it was Hinshaw. Johnson moves over to third. Now there are 2 out. We'll see if Hinshaw's okay.
No, it didn't hit him. He just turned his ankle a little. Turned his ankle just a tad.
That's it. Ball hit the back of the mound, and that's what slowed the ball down. And now the trainer's going to come out and have a look and see if Hinshaw's okay. And Bud Black is going to join the conversation now to see if his young left-hander's all right. Phone rings in the bullpen. And now they're going to get another pitcher up in case Hinshaw can't continue. Matt Palmer pitched last night and gave up that home run to David Wright. Will begin to loosen up.
Well,
Let's see how he functions here. Oh, come on, you're all right. Come on, slugger.
You know, we can get you one of those little trainer's uniforms. Get you the little fanny pack with all the supplies in it.
Yeah. Well, I'd tell you what, I like him. He's a little bit iffy, but he should go get him. Atta baby.
Well, he's satisfied as manager.
I like his stuff. This kid's got a good arm.
So Hinshaw stays on to face Kirk Neuenhuis. That's now for runner at third with 2 out. Neuenhuis 2 for 3 today. Singled in a run in the third. Singled and scored a run in the fifth. So over the last half dozen games now, Kirk is 7 for 14. Raised his batting average to .297. And the more Neuenhuis plays, the more you realize that he's not going anywhere.
Oh, that's up and in.
Ball might have hit his thumbs if he didn't swing at it.
That's the toughest pitch to lay off, and you have no chance to hit it, and you become more experienced, you learn, okay, to lay off that pitch at least more times than not.
He's been very vulnerable up and in. Good looking fastball, and Hinshaw gets ahead 0-2.
No. Oh, nice kick save. Mr. Goodwin down there.
Lundqvist needs a few more of those. It's not going well.
2-0 still.
Last I heard. I guess it's going well if you're a Devils fan. There are some of those, right? Here's the 0-2, and Neuenhuis lays off the slider. A ball and 2 strikes. Just kidding, Devils fans.
What's that?
I said I'm just kidding. There are Devils fans. Just not as many. Can't get him to bite on that slider, and now it's 2-2. David Wright on deck. Hinshaw knows that this is the guy he's got to get out. He got ahead on Neuenhuis 0-2 with fastballs. Now it's 2-2. And he goes back to the fastball to strike him out. So Neuenhuis is fanned for the second time today, and the Mets strand a runner at third, but lead at 6-1 after 6. luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Matt Joyce a grand slam. Elliott Johnson and Carlos Pena have also homered. Tampa Bay leads Boston 7-1 in the 5th. The Nats got 4 off Tim Hudson in the 1st. And the Nats lead the Braves 4-1. That game's in the 4th. And Josh Hamilton has added his 19th home run. Brandon Morrow getting cuffed around tonight. 7-0 Texas in the 2nd.
19 home runs.
He'd gone about 2 weeks without one.
Jeez.
So he was due. Chase Headley leads off the 7th inning against Dylan G, who had thrown just 80 pitches through 6 innings. Headley twice has grounded out to first base. G falls behind him 2-0. Dillon has walked 2, struck out 6, allowed just 1 run and 3 hits. He has not won back-to-back decisions, G, since last July, and he hasn't won back-to-back starts since last June. He's got a chance to do that tonight. But he walks the leadoff hitter in the 7th inning. 3rd walk as Headley is aboard to start the 7th.
And you want to finish strong here. You don't want, right now, you want a good time for Johnson to come out and have a chat. You want to clean up this inning, go 7 strong, and even maybe convince your manager you can go deeper.
John Baker, the batter, Andy Perino behind him. Nobody up yet in the Mets bullpen. By the way, remember last night, Ramon Ramirez kind of hobbled on his way to first base, trying to cover on a play, got there a little late. And Terry Collins went down the tunnel with him. Turns out that Ramon had a cramp in his calf, nothing serious at all. And so he should be available tonight if needed, along with the rest of that bullpen. That's had to use Acosta and Ramirez for an extended period last night. Cranked foul off the bat of Baker, and it's 1-1.
No, that's a long strike.
Not too many balls get up in that corner. Right at the corner of the promenade down the right field line. Right over Mr. 902.
I remember in St. Louis Old Busch Stadium, I think it was Mike Laga, left-hand hitter, pull hitter, pulled one so far foul he hit it, I think, almost out of the stadium.
In St. Louis?
He pulled it over the dugout and was in the upper deck. I never saw that.
It's a long way up.
Ronnie would remember that.
Now the 1-2 to Baker. In there for a call, strike 3. Don't know what he was looking for, but he took the fastball. And G has his 7th strikeout, matching his season high.
That's what I like to see. Determination here. You know, you lead off walk. You always feel better about yourself. Finish the inning. Don't have a reliever come in and clean it up for you. Clean the inning up. End it. That's determination.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Perino, who has struck out and walked tonight, 0 for 1. And a big rip by Perino. Who's not a home run hitter. He had home run on his mind. He's hit 1 this year. That's the way they used to swing them up in Brockport, New York, for the 3 weeks a year that you could play baseball in Brockport. Perino out of Little Lemoyne College up in Syracuse. And he takes a fastball for a strike, and G's ahead 0-2.
Well, Dillon looks really, really sharp. And he's mixed up his pitches. Started the game throwing the fastball. Then kind of in the middle, kind of swung to mixing his pitches up. Now he's going back to his fastball.
Hasn't thrown nearly as many sliders as he did in Toronto. Hasn't had to.
Nice block.
There's the curveball, stopped by Rob Johnson, and it's 1-2. Everett Cabrera waiting on deck. G about to throw his 90th pitch of the night. And Perino takes that curveball wide. 2-2.
We've mentioned before, Dylan G throws on the extreme first base side of that rubber.
Now the 2-2. Foul back. Well, the Mets have the bullpen going for the first time. Tim Burdack, who hasn't pitched in a couple of days. That's a rarity for him. So he's getting himself ready.
There you go, Dylan, right there, way over on that first base side of the slab.
And Perino out on strikes. 8 strikeouts for Dylan G. That matches his career high.
Well, all set up because he just powered him with fastballs. And that he's throwing that bait changeup. It's not a strike. Good late sink. Nice pitch.
Well, that's how he was so successful in his rookie year last year, particularly against the lefties. And you know, the lefties came into the day hitting .320 against him. But you know, he's done a much better job tonight.
When the league doesn't know you, you can go through it with one pitch. But once they catch on, then you got to start mixing it up. And the fastball is always going to be the setup pitch for the off-speed pitch and the breaking stuff. You got to use the fastball.
Everett Cabrera has hit a comebacker and struck out tonight, 0 for 2. Chris DeNorfie is batting 9th in the order. Came in on a double switch. DeNorfie is on deck. Headley at first with 2 down. Good changeup from G, and it's 1-1. There's DeNorfie waiting on deck.
Well, that's how they got Cabrera last time. Remember, Gary? They just struck him out with runners on first and second. That was back in the 5th.
Broken bat pop up, shallow center. It may fall in, and it does for a base hit. So Cabrera sacrifices a bat for a hit, and the Padres have their 4th hit of the night.
Good pitch. Change up away, fastball in.
Well, the Padres have 4 hits tonight, and 2 of the 4 have been of the very soft variety. Alonso had a pop fly single in the first, and now Cabrera a broken bat single here in the 7th. Bobby Parnell joins Tim Burdack in the bullpen. Chris DeNorfie will be coming up for the first time. He's a right-hand batter, and then you've got the lefty swinging Will Venable. So G will get at least one more batter, 95 pitches deep in his outing. Remember, he threw 113 pitches his last time out in Toronto, so they might try to go a little shorter with him tonight. Headley at second, Cabrera at first with 2 out. And now DeNorfie, the former Cincinnati Red. And he takes to the knees for a strike, 0-1.
Well, Terry Collins and Dan Warthen want G to complete this inning.
DeNorfie 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. Not a pinch hitter in this spot, but he slashes one foul, and G is ahead 0-2. Will Venable would be next, but G trying to put this inning to bed before he can bat. Headley at second, Cabrera at first with 2 down. Padres 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight, after tearing it up last night. Now the 0-2 off the corner, ball and 2 strikes. That would be a wave.
Well, there was no wave like in the 60s, in the 80s.
There were waves in the 60s too, but different kinds of waves. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
They're in the Navy too. Waves.
Well, it's Fleet Week. Of course, in the 50s they said don't make waves. 100th pitch coming up from Dylan G. And it's poked foul by DeNorfie. Is that tomorrow? Rusty's bobblehead day?
Oh, goodness.
Wonder if they got a good likeness. Hope it's better than that Roy Halladay bobblehead that they have to recall. You see that?
No, I didn't see it.
Here's the 2-2. Taken outside. Halladay in the bobblehead they had to recall. The ball was in the wrong hand and the wrong leg was up. It looked like he was pitching backwards. It was very strange. Runners will go. The 3-2 coming to Denorfia. And he got him swinging. Nope. Got a piece of it. Fouled it off.
Good fastball riding up and in.
Just kept the at-bat alive.
Wanted it away. Missed on the other side of the plate.
So G will have to load it up one more time. The runners take off the 3-2. And again, Denorfia just got a piece.
Well, I like this. 2 straight fastballs, 3-2. He can't beat you, Denorfia. If he hits a 3-run home run, it's a big ballpark here, too. Something else to factor in. It's a 6-4 game.
Just not quite as big as it used to be.
Nope.
And not as big as the park the Padres are accustomed to playing in. Petco, which depresses offense more than any park in the National League. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Chris Denorfia with 2 out and 2 on.
Yes.
And he takes strike 3 call.
A career-high 9 strikeouts for Dylan G. He fans 3 in the inning. And the Padres strand a pair right to the corner. 6-1 New York. Boy.
Expect Tina Fey and Alex Baldwin to be walking out any moment. 30 Rock.
Is that Alex rumored going to get married? The rumors are flying.
Take the train to the game tomorrow afternoon at 1:10 as the series with the Padres continues. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Line score brought to you by Honda. Only a Honda is a Honda. David Wright leads off in the home 7th against the lefty Alex Hinshaw. David's 0 for 3 tonight. All the way down to 397. And he takes ball 1 from the left-hander. So Hinshaw apparently okay after turning his ankle in that last inning. Bounced back from that to strike out Neuenhuis and stays in to face Wright. David had 3 hits last night. But it is a tall task to keep that average over 400. You got to have a good night every night.
Well, he's got 148 at bats. Murphy's got 174 coming into the game, both of them.
Because David has walked more.
David has walked 29 times, 6 intentionally.
And also missed a few games when he broke his finger. 2 balls and a strike. Duda and Murphy to follow here in the 7th. Mets with 6 runs and 8 hits. The Padres 1 run and 4 hits. And Hinshaw is 2-1, and the curveball sits high and away.
Oh, didn't pull the lampshade down.
Chris Coughlin just hit a 3-run homer for the Marlins, and they take the lead on the Giants 6-3 in the 6th. That was Lincecum against Josh Johnson.
Well, the Marlins are playing a lot better baseball.
Coughlin was just recalled when they sent Gabby Sanchez down. That's ball 4, and David's on base for the first time tonight. So the Mets have a leadoff base runner in the home 7th, and here comes Duda, who got the Mets started tonight. They fell behind 1-0 early, but Duda tied it with his first home run since April the 28th.
Well,
and his 5th of the year.
Good time here for David, who's if they have the scouting reports on this guy and they now know something about his move, try to steal one here. It's a good time. David's got 4 stolen bases, caught 5 times. I don't think he's going anywhere. He has no lead.
Of all the left-hand hitters in the Mets lineup, Duda has done the best job against left-handed pitching. Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. Duda hitting .292 against lefties this year. And up and in. A ball and a strike.
A lot of up and ins today from the Padre pitchers. To no avail. The Mets have had a very nice 8-hit, 6-run attack.
All that given up by Anthony Bass in 5 1/3 innings. He's on the hook in this game. Hinshaw's 1-1 to Duda, and that catches the knees for a strike, and it's 1-2. And that leaves Lucas muttering. Daniel Murphy, who snapped an 0 for 15 with an RBI double his last time up, waiting on deck. On the outside corner, and Duda now muttering to Bill Welke.
You never hear Lucas complain. And that, well, he might have a little bit of a good see. I think it's outside. Oh yeah, he's got a gripe, I should say. Spit it out, Keith.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Murphy, who slashed a double down the left field line his last time up, 1 for 3 on the day. Right at first and 1 out. And Murph takes up and in. Ball 1. Miles Mikolas is up again in the San Diego bullpen. That's with 3 straight left-handed hitters, Duda, Murphy, and Davis, before you get to the next right-handed bat, Cedeno. David continues to hold those gloves in his hand to protect his finger. Shallow center field. Perino out. Maben in to call. And Maben puts it away for the second out.
But Maben again, we talked earlier. He just
crazy legs hurt.
Yes.
So 2 out now. Ike Davis, who banged a base hit up the middle to drive in 2 runs with 2 out in the 5th. He's also drawn a walk tonight, so Ike is 1 for 2. Hinshaw has been impressive in relief. Retired 4 of the 5 hitters he's faced, a couple of strikeouts along the way. And Davis bloops one. Perino going out, and he puts it away to end the inning. Hinshaw works around a leadoff walk, and we head to the 8th with the Mets sporting a 5-run lead. little swing in the big town. So check out the out-of-town scores brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pirates and Cubs battling. Cubs trying to avoid a 10th consecutive loss. They've already got their longest losing streak in 10 years. Joey Votto having a big night, but the Rockies lead the Reds in the 6th. We mentioned the 3-run homer by Chris Coughlin that put the Marlins in front of Lincecum and the Giants. Nationals scored 4 in the first off Tim Hudson. Cliff Lee still looking for his first win of the year. Phillies tied 2-2 with the Cardinals. And later on, the Dodgers with the best record in baseball at 30-14. Andres Torres takes over in center field. He'll bat 9th. Kirk Neuenhuis moves from center to right. So the new pitcher bats 4th. Tim Burdack is on the pitch.
Well, Burdack has been a stalwart out there, and you can see strictly a left-handed specialist. 12 1/3 innings in 26 games. We'll tell you all, 18 strikeouts, doesn't walk anybody.
Bobby Parnell stays busy. Burdack brought in to face the left-hand hitter Venable, and for the most part, Burdack has been facing one batter at a time. He's actually had 2 days off in a row, which has been a rarity this year. So it's his 27th game of the 47 the Mets have played, which means now his pace is down to 93 games. It was 98 earlier in the week. But I think Terry knows he can't pitch him 98 times this year, so he's going to try and use him as much as he can without burning him out. Venable tonight has walked and doubled 1 for 2, and the slider off the plate, 2 balls and a strike. So Dylan G went 7 innings, allowed 1 run and 4 hits, walked 3, and struck out a career high 9 batters. It's the second time in 4 days that a Mets starting pitcher has set a new career high for strikeouts. R.A. Dickey struck out 11 against the Pirates on Tuesday, a new career high, and now G with his 9 has done the same.
Well, the Mets have been getting good starting pitching. They've had a couple bumps in a row, but you know, you can't expect everybody's going to have a bad outing here and there. But all in all, the Mets starting rotation has really held up.
3-1, and Venable takes ball 4, so this time Burdack does not get his man. And we'll see if he gets more than one batter tonight with a couple of days off.
5-run lead he will. Alonso, the third hitter, is in the on-deck circle, lefty. Parnell, I think, is moving up the food chain, don't you think, down that bullpen, Garrett?
I don't think there's any question. Although, you know, when he's been pushed into more high-leverage situations at times, he has struggled. Here's Maben, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Ball and a strike to Cameron Maben. 38-year-old Tim Burdack, knee surgery in spring training. Wasn't even certain he'd be ready to pitch opening day. But not only was he ready, he has been borderline spectacular in his role.
There's a good backdoor slider. Got her daddy's coat on.
A little chill in the air. Here's the 1-2. Little tapper back to Burdack. A chance for 2. Hits Cedeno coming across the bag. And the 1-6-3 double play against the speedy Maben. 2 out and nobody on.
Well, Maben struggling against lefties, hitting 145 against lefties this year, and tailor-made, pitcher's best friend. By the way, the Rangers came back and tied that game 2-2.
Trying to make it 1994 all over again.
And all you folks watching, don't turn that dial.
There's Yonder Alonso, and he takes a strike. Well, if they know that you're here to update them, they don't have to.
That's right.
Go away.
The baseball fans are watching. Our Met fans.
Alonso went around, and that's not surprising because Jeff Nelson's been calling that half swing all night. Alexi Amarista has come out on deck to pinch hit if Alonso can keep the inning going. 0-2 from Burdack, and he misses with the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alonso 1 for 3 at a pop fly single back in the first. Miles Mikolas has pitched a complete game in the bullpen. He might finally come on to pitch. Alonso fouls it and retrieves it.
Throw it by him. Keep it right up there.
Now the 1-2, and he quick pitches him, and it's fouled off by Alonso. He's been doing that occasionally.
It's a crafty veteran. You never trust those left-handers. On and off the field, trust me.
You talking about pitchers or lefties in general, my friend? My Gold Glove left-handed friend. Check swing. Did he go? Yeah, of course he did. Nelson's been calling him out all night, and that was no exception. So another good inning for Tim Burdack and a 6-1 Met lead in the 8th. Nissan. It's Nissan's national tent event. For a limited time, get bonus cash on popular models. Visit choosenissan.com. Bottom of the 8th, and rookie right-hander Miles Mikolas is on to pitch.
Well, 7th round selection in the 2009 Players Draft. He's a Jupiter, Florida native. How about that?
It's your neighbor.
Good neighbor Sam.
Comes in to face Ronnie Cedeno, leading off in the bottom of the 8th. Mets were down 1-0 in this game. Duda hit a home run in the 2nd. Mets scored 2 in the 3rd and 3 in the 5th against Anthony Bass as the Mets seek to even up this series. It's been a rarity this year when the Mets have won by a considerable margin. They've already lost 8 games this year, including last night, by 6 runs or more, which is why coming into the night the Mets had a minus 35 run differential and yet are still 3 games over 500. Tonight the shoe has been on the other foot. Cedeno fouls one off and it's 1-1. Rob Johnson on deck, and then Andres Torres, who's hitting in the 9 hole. On the way, Cedeno continuing to fill in it short. Ruben Tejada trying to come back, did some base running today down in Florida, and as Terry Collins expressed it, it only went so-so. He didn't say exactly what that meant, but I guess it wasn't a big step forward for Ruben today. So they may slow down the pace of his comeback a little bit, but still Ruben should be in some games next week unless he suffers some kind of setback. Off the end of the bat to second base, and Cabrera throws out Cedeno one away. Anyway, it looks like Ronnie Cedeno will be filling in at short for at least another week, and certainly can't argue about the job he's done.
Well, like I said earlier, when the club is playing the way it's playing, there's no panic. They're right in the hunt. There's no need to rush. Everybody's filling in. You got to have it. That's why there's 25 players. Your backup players got to fill in when you have injuries. And Cedeno has been one of them. And you see Ramirez up in the bullpen.
So Ramirez, no ill effects after the calf cramp that slowed him down yesterday. Well, there's another one of those backup players who's been doing a nice job, Rob Johnson, who was 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. Alex Hinshaw did a nice job in relief for San Diego, an inning and 2/3, no hits. Out to right center, Maben on the move, and he gets there to retire Johnson, 2 out. So 2 up and 2 set aside by Mikolas, and now Andres Torres will bat for the first time. Came in on the double switch in the last half inning. Torres started last night in center field, went 1 for 3, just his second hit in his last 37 at bats. It's been a rough go for Andres, especially as a left-hand hitter, which traditionally has been his better side. Got the base hit as a right-hand batter last night. He's held his own right-handed. And he takes a strike. As Neuenhuis and Baxter continue to perform well and Torres struggles, makes you wonder about the configuration of the Mets outfield when Jason Bay comes back in a week or so. And you have to figure right now Torres is really fighting to hang on to a starting job.
And Neuenhuis played a really wonderful center field when he first came up when Torres was down.
And Torres bloops one to shallow left, and on comes DeNorfia to make the play, and that retires the side. So 1-2-3 inning for Mikolas, and now the Mets will try and close it out with Ramirez in the ninth. Three outs for New York as we go to the ninth.
Well, Ramirez has been the workhorse in this bullpen. He has the most innings, not the most appearances. 24 1/3 innings, 23 strikeouts. He's been the guy they go to that will can give you 2-3 innings.
I like Alexi Amarista will be the pinch hitter for the Padres. Amarista appeared in the game last night and had an infield single. Amarista started the year in the Angels organization, picked up 3 weeks ago by San Diego when they had all the infield injuries. And the Padres sent a relief pitcher, Ernesto Frieri, to the Angels. And Frieri, since he's gone to Anaheim, has been spectacular. Padres probably wish they had him back, although their bullpen has still performed pretty well without him. And Amarista lifts one out to right where Nieuwenhuis is playing. And that's the first out of the 9th inning. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Chase Headley comes up. Headley 0 for 2 and a walk today. Well, Dylan G stands to get the victory, and if he does, they'll have wins and back-to-back starts for the first time since June of last year. A good start against the Blue Jays and a better start tonight for Dylan. Ball 1 to Headley.
Well, you know, the game kind of early there, that double play that ended the first inning when the Padres had a runner on first base with first and third and 1 out. And the double play off Guzman, he just jammed him enough, Gary. If that ball been a little 2 or 3 inches out over the middle, it would have been a 3-run home run to change the whole complexion of the ball game.
Baxter made a spectacular catch against the wall. Could have easily hit off the fence, but Baxter was able to grab it sprawled against the wall and turn it into a double play. The Padres got a run, but that's the only run they've scored tonight.
So all good tonight. If Ramirez can close this ball game out, it's all good for the Mets. Very fine offensive performance. Very fine start from Dylan G. 2 in a row.
Now the 1-2 to Headley. And the breaking ball down. 2-2. John Baker, the left-hand batting catcher, waiting on deck. Tomorrow the Mets will have Johan Santana on the mound in game 3 of this 4-game set. And Headley lifts one to left, and Baxter eases over. And now there are 2 out. So the Padres are down to their final out. And the catcher's having a conversation. The former Padre Rob Johnson and the current Padre catcher John Baker. It's a Cal Berkeley guy. Baker.
Another Berkeley guy, huh?
Fastball by Ramirez as Baker took his home run cut. Baker's 1 for 3 tonight, single to left in the 5th. Padres have been held to just 4 hits. And Baker lays off the changeup, a ball and a strike. Well, if the Mets win this game tonight with G going 7 innings, they will be 11-0 this year when their starter goes at least 7.
Well, in today's game, when a starter goes 7, it's like going 9. So they're having a good performance. It does make sense.
And it takes some pressure off the bullpen, requires less of them, and you can use your better pitchers at that point. Rolled out to short. Cedeno runs around it, throws out Baker. Good tag by Davis, and the ball game is over. A 1-2-3 ninth for Ramon Ramirez, and the Mets get themselves a comfortable victory. 7 strong innings from Dylan G. Lucas Duda with his first home run of the month of May, and the Mets win it in a walk, 6-1.
Well, the Mets fell behind early, 1-0. Fine play defensively by Mike Baxter to double play to end the inning. G just is the story as far as I'm concerned. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, a career high 9 strikeouts. 2 in a row for him makes that man happy right there, manager Terry Collins. And as Gary said, Lucas Duda's 5th home run of the season. And David Wright, a rare offer, if you can believe that.
Game summary brought to you by Audi Truth and Engineering. Ike Davis had another big hit last night, 2-run pinch single with the Mets far behind, but today he had the 2-run single in the 5th that kind of put the game away, put them up 6-1, and the Mets were never threatened from there. 2 hitless innings from the bullpen, 1 from Burdack and 1 from Ramirez, and Dylan G gets victories in back-to-back starts for the first time in 11 months. G goes to 4-3 on the season as the Mets go back to 4 games over 500 as they win it tonight 6-1. Kevin Burkhardt standing by with Mike Baxter.
Well, Mike, obviously Dylan G pitched a great game, but your play in the first inning could have changed the entire thing. Just give us your take as soon as that ball was hit off of Guzman's bat.
Yeah, I was ready. You know, Guzzi's a good hitter, drives and runs really well, so I knew he was going to be aggressive. Just got a good break on it, found the wall halfway there, and luckily he was able to make a play.
How tough is that to make that catch while you're kind of going into the wall and keep everything together there?
A little tough, but that's why you got to try to find it. You know, if you can kind of locate the wall as you're going, it makes it a little bit easier.
And how about the presence of mind to come up and fire into Ronnie there?